Paying rent to earn credit card points? Stay tuned to find out more. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Daniel, the Land Miler, and today we're going to be exploring the Chexy program and how you can use your rental payments to rack up some serious points. If you're new to the channel, I talk about credit cards, how to fly the world in first and business class, so if you're ready to level up your travel game, give this video a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned. Chexy is a digital payment platform where you can use your credit card to pay your rent as opposed to paying directly to your landlord. From what's stated on their website, Chexy charges your credit card 4 days before rent is due and sends an Interac e-transfer to your landlord on rent day. Simply put, you don't need any sort of agreement with your landlord. All you need is for them to be okay with accepting your payment electronically. You might probably still want to give them a quick heads up before you start using Chexy. Rent is one of the largest revolving expenses now for Canadians. But with the Chexy program, we can now finally capitalize and earn a ton of points and miles from using it. To top this off, all major card issuers are accepted, including American Express. Let's take a look at how the math breaks down and why you may or may not want to use Chexy as a payment option for your rental expenses. First and foremost, the fee breakdown is extremely simple. For debit card transactions, which will not be our use case, $1 is charged per month. With credit card payments, a fixed fee of 1.75% is applied every month. This means that if you're paying around $2,500 per month or $30,000 per year in rent, you'll need to pay $525 in Chexy fees. Now, why would we want to pay those fees? The first and probably most obvious is to use this rental expense in order to meet high minimum spend requirements for new bonuses on cards. Whether you're trying to hit multiple small bonuses or large bonuses like the American Express Business Platinum card, which has a requirement of $10,000 in the first 3 months, I think it's definitely well worth the cost here. If you're playing in 2-player mode, it makes even more sense now because you can now combine your rental payments between new cards from you and your player 2. Let's take a situation where you and your partner have $2,500 in rental expenses per month. Player 1 picks up the Business Gold card and puts 2 months of rent on it to hit the 75,000 point bonus. Player 1 then refers Player 2 to the Business Gold and earns 15,000 points in referral, and with 2 more months of rent, Player 2 hits the second 75,000 bonus points. Then Player 2 refers Player 1 to the Platinum card for another 15,000. After 3 months of rental payments, the 90,000 point bonus on the Platinum is earned, and then vice versa again for Player 2. Using 10 months worth of rent payments alone, and this is not including any other spending, we can already knock off 4 high bonus cards for a total of 375,000 bonus points plus 25,000 points from the spending for a grand total of 400,000 points. Breaking the first 4 cards down, each of the Business Gold cards cost $199 for the year, so just under $400 for the 2, and an effective annual fee of $499 for the Personal Platinum, altogether totaling around $1,400 in annual fees. For spending $25,000 on Chexy at 1.75%, it would cost us $437.50 in Chexy fees, so totaling around $1,850 for 400,000 points. You can continue this tactic as well with the Business Platinum cards as well, given your other spending can meet the remaining $2,500 out of the $10,000 spend requirement in the first 3 months. This would earn you another 260,000 MR points. If you aren't playing in a 2-player situation, this method is still perfectly viable. You just won't be picking up those referral bonuses. To put this into perspective, a business class flight from Toronto to Singapore on both Air Canada Business and Singapore Airlines Business costs around 87,500 points. That means you have enough for 2 full round-trip tickets. A one-way on ANA's first class from the US to Tokyo costs around 110,000 points, but cash-wise would cost upwards of $20,000. Needless to say, putting a couple of $100 in Chexy fees is a small price to pay when compared to this amount of redemption power. This simulation is based on today's bonus numbers, so when you're applying for a new card, do make sure that the offer you're getting is a good one. The second thing that we need to look at is opportunity costs, which may factor heavily as to whether or not Chexy is a good option. Say for example, you're able to meet the spending requirement of $10,000 in 3 months on the Business Platinum card. However, this is because a big part of your spending is on dining and groceries, which you historically put on your Cobalt card, say $2,500 a month. For simplicity's sake, this adds up to $7,500 in 3 months. And as an example, we'll say you spend $2,500 in miscellaneous things to make up for the total $10,000. In this example, we'll be consistent with our last and say our rent is $2,500 a month. The question is, does it make sense to use Chexy? Option 1 is that we pay our $2,500 monthly rent with Chexy. This means that we're free to put our dining and groceries onto any card we want. The $7,500 in 3 months of food and dining spending remains on the Cobalt, which would earn 5 points per dollar for a total of 37,500 MR points. The remaining $2,500 of miscellaneous spending we would shift from the Cobalt to the Business Platinum, effectively meeting the spending requirements for 100,000 points. But because we use Chexy for 3 months at $2,500 a month, we pay Chexy $7,500 times 1.75%, equaling $131.25. Option 2. We pay rent with cash or EFT and move all of our spending from the Cobalt to the Business Platinum to meet the $10,000 spend requirement. $7,500 in food and groceries and $2,500 on miscellaneous spending. Here, we don't pay any fees, but we will have $0 spending on our Cobalt and hence 0 points on it. We will still hit the bonus on the Business Platinum after moving all of our expenses over. Breaking down these two scenarios, the opportunity cost of using Chexy is $131.25. But because we use Chexy, the $7,500 that we would have needed to move from the Cobalt to the Biz Plat would earn 5 points per dollar due to the Cobalt's multiplier. As a result, you would earn 37,500 extra MR points for the cost of $131 and some change. And since MR moved over to Aeroplan generally generates a value of around 2 cents per point or more, we're looking at a value here of over $700. Taking away the $131 in opportunity cost, this is still a net positive in favor of using Chexy of around $600. This is just a simplified simulation of spending, so make sure you do this calculation with your own numbers, your own rent, your own food expenses, etc., in order to find out what the best solution is for you. But what if we're not working towards a bonus? Is Chexy still a good solution for me? In order to answer this question, we'll need to take a look at the highest earn rates for cards for this type of spending. What's also cool about the Chexy website is that they already have a preloaded simulator of different credit cards and what you would expect to earn in a year using them for rent. Unfortunately, according to a post on the Chexy subreddit, Chexy payments no longer qualify as a recurring payment, so cards like Scotiabank Momentum that gives 4% cashback on that category completely falls off the list. This leaves us with a few options that are worth considering. The first option is the American Express Simply Cash Preferred Card, which earns 2% cashback on every purchase. Since Chexy's fee is 1.75%, for every dollar you spend on Chexy using this card, you'll be up 0.25%. The next one would be Aeroplan or MR earning cards. You have many cards that earn 1 point per dollar, like the CIBC or TD Aeroplan Visa Infinite cards. If you're using the Visa Infinite Privilege card, you will earn 1.25 points per dollar instead of $1. If the rental spending is not used towards a new bonus, you're effectively trading 1.75 cents for 1.25 MR or Aeroplan points. Whether or not this is worth it is really up to you. Because Aeroplan points are generally worth 2 cents or more, you could say that this is a net positive transaction. So if your appetite for points as of right now is greater than your appetite to save money, say for example you have certain premium cabin flights you want to book, then definitely using Chexy to earn some Aeroplan points on the side is a good idea. In the case of several Aeroplan co-branded credit cards, you can also earn a worldwide companion pass after spending $25,000 or more on your card in the year. This method would double as a bonus potential ticket if your rental payments can lift you over the $25K threshold. Personally, I think that Chexy is a powerful tool to meet minimum spend requirements for those who are tied up with rent. Statistically, around 30% of Canadian incomes goes towards rental payments, and now with Chexy, this can now be transformed to your next travel adventure. While I think there is a possibility of overshooting your minimum spend requirements by using Chexy on rent, I definitely think the extra marginal fee is worth it for that extra peace of mind. After all, each dollar you spend after meeting the minimum spend requirement is still going to earn the base earn rate. If you're ready to start paying your rent with your credit card to rack up extra points and miles, I have a referral link down in the description below. And if you have any questions about the topics we talked about today, leave a comment in the comment box below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And again, if you're enjoying the content and would like to support the channel, give this video a quick thumbs up and subscribe to the Landmiler channel for even more travel hacking content. That's all for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.